Caitlyn Jenner is once again dominating headlines, but this time it's not about reality television, politics, or her famous family. It's about a deeply personal and surprisingly controversial financial claim involving her late confidant, Sophia Hutchins, and the details are far more complicated than anyone expected. New developments have revealed that Caitlyn Jenner filed a formal creditor's claim against Sophia Hutchins' estate, stating that Hutchins owed her an exact amount of $439,095.88 at the time of her death. This number is not rounded, not estimated, it is precise, documented, and now part of an official legal process that has shocked fans across the world. What makes this story even more intense is that Sophia Hutchins was not just anyone in Caitlyn Jenner's life. She was her manager, her business partner, and arguably one of the closest people to her for nearly a decade. The two met back in 2015, shortly after Caitlyn publicly transitioned, and from that moment on, Hutchins became a constant presence. She wasn't just handling business affairs, she was living with Jenner, traveling with her, appearing in interviews, and often being described as her right-hand person. Over the years, their relationship sparked endless speculation. Many questioned whether there was something romantic between them, but both Caitlyn Jenner and Sophia Hutchins consistently denied those rumors. They insisted their connection was rooted in friendship, loyalty, and professional trust. That's what makes the current situation feel so unexpected, because now that same relationship is being viewed through a completely different lens. According to the claim, the nearly $440,000 debt stems from a mix of expenses that Hutchins allegedly accumulated over time. These include large sums spent on credit cards, personal purchases, shared legal fees, and even direct cash withdrawals. The breakdown itself reads like a financial puzzle, and each piece adds another layer to the story. A significant portion of the money, over $270,000, was reportedly spent through online platforms, including luxury marketplaces and e-commerce sites. These weren't small, everyday purchases. These were high-value transactions that, according to Jenner, were not related to business operations, but rather personal expenses that Hutchins had agreed to repay. Then there are the additional charges. Thousands of dollars in debit transactions and cash advances. While those amounts may seem smaller compared to the total, they contribute to a growing picture of ongoing financial activity that over time built up to a massive sum. And perhaps one of the most surprising details is the inclusion of over $130,000 in shared legal fees. This suggests that Jenner and Hutchins were involved in legal matters together, or at least financially connected in ways that went beyond simple management duties. It raises questions about what exactly those legal situations were and how their financial responsibilities were structured behind the scenes. But what truly complicates the narrative is that this wasn't an unpaid debt that suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Reports indicate that Hutchins had already repaid around $75,000 before her death. That detail is crucial because it implies there was an understanding between the two, a system, perhaps, even an agreement that Hutchins would gradually pay back what she owed. And then, everything changed. On July 2, 2025, tragedy struck in a way no one could have predicted. Sophia Hutchins, just 29 years old, lost her life in a devastating ATV accident near Caitlyn Jenner's Malibu property. According to authorities, Hutchins was riding the vehicle when it collided with another car, causing her ATV to veer off the road and plunge hundreds of feet down a ravine. The accident was described as catastrophic, and she was pronounced dead at the scene. The news sent shockwaves through both the entertainment world and social media. For many, Hutchins had become a recognizable figure, not just because of her connection to Jenner, but because of her own presence in media, business, and public life. In the days following her death, Caitlyn Jenner appeared visibly shaken. She briefly addressed the situation, saying she was going through an incredibly difficult time and preferred to grieve privately. At that point, the story was one of loss, heartbreak, and remembrance. Fans expressed sympathy, shared tributes, and reflected on the bond the two had shared. But now, months later, the narrative has taken a dramatic turn. Caitlyn Jenner reportedly filed the creditor's claim in November 2025, several months after Hutchins' passing. By March 2026, the estate had formally acknowledged the claim, and here's where things take another unexpected twist. The estate has not disputed the amount. That's right. Despite the size of the claim and the emotional weight surrounding it, Sophia Hutchins' estate has reportedly accepted the debt as valid. This means that, at least from a legal standpoint, there is no active disagreement over whether the money was owed. Instead, the situation now hinges on court approval and the process of settling the estate. This detail has fueled even more conversation online, because if the estate is not contesting the claim, it suggests that there may be documentation, records, or agreements that support Jenner's position, and yet for many fans, that doesn't make the situation any less uncomfortable. Public reaction has been intense, and it continues to grow. Some people are defending Caitlyn Jenner, arguing that this is simply a matter of financial accountability. They point out that when large sums of money are involved, especially in shared business and personal arrangements, it's not unusual for debts to be formally addressed, even after someone's passing. From this perspective, Jenner is simply following legal protocol to recover money that was rightfully hers. But others see it very differently. Critics have called the move insensitive, questioning why such a claim would be pursued after the tragic death of someone who was described as a close friend. Social media has been flooded with emotional reactions, with some users saying the situation feels cold and transactional, especially given the years of loyalty and companionship between Jenner and Hutchins. There are also those who fall somewhere in the middle, acknowledging that while the financial claim may be valid, the timing and public nature of it make the situation feel complicated and deeply uncomfortable. And perhaps that's what makes this story so compelling. It's not just about money, it's about the intersection of personal relationships and financial responsibilities. It's about what happens when trust, business, and tragedy collide, and it's about how even the closest bonds can reveal unexpected complexities when viewed through the lens of legal and financial reality. As more details continue to emerge, people are starting to re-examine what they thought they knew about Caitlyn Jenner and Sophia Hutchins' relationship. Was it purely professional with a strong personal connection? Was it a partnership built on mutual benefit and trust? Or was it something more layered, something that involved blurred lines between personal support and financial dependency? There's also the question of what happens next. If the court approves the claim, Hutchins' estate will be required to settle the debt, which could involve liquidating assets or distributing funds accordingly. This could potentially impact how her estate is divided and what remains for any beneficiaries. At the same time, this situation could set a precedent for how similar cases are handled in the future, especially when it comes to informal financial arrangements between close friends or business partners. For Caitlyn Jenner, this marks yet another chapter in a life that has constantly been in the public eye. From Olympic gold medalist to reality TV star, from personal transformation to political ventures, Jenner has never been far from headlines. But this story feels different. It's quieter, more personal, and in many ways more revealing. Because behind the numbers and legal documents is a story about two people who shared nearly a decade of their lives, and how, even after one of them is gone, their connection continues to unfold in unexpected ways. And for Sophia Hutchins, this story adds another layer to her legacy. She was more than just a manager or a public figure. She was someone who played a significant role in one of the most high-profile lives in modern celebrity culture. And now, even in death, she remains at the center of a story that people can't stop talking about. As this situation continues to develop, one thing is clear: this is far from over. New details could emerge, public opinion could shift, and the final outcome could reshape how this story is remembered. But for now, it stands as one of the most surprising and emotionally complex celebrity stories of the year, a story that reminds us that even behind the glamour and fame, real relationships, real money, and real consequences are always at play. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.